Before we begin, I kindly ask all council members to silence and put away cell phones. If you need to step away or attend to personal matters, please make a motion to recess. For those participating by phone, please keep your device muted unless you are speaking. When speaking, kindly state your name for the benefits of those viewing the live stream. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast live. The camera is located above the clock at the back of the council chambers. Our proceedings follow Robert's Rules of Order as set forth in Wasilla Municipal Code 2.04.090. To promote an orderly and respectful meeting, I respectfully ask the council to observe the following rules. Please seek recognition before speaking. No member may speak more than twice on the same motion without a vote to suspend the rules. No member may speak a second time until all who wish to speak have had an opportunity to do so. These guidelines help ensure fairness, efficiency, and mutual respect during our discussions. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Cottle.
Here.
Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Crofton.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Rubio.
Here.
We do have a quorum, Madam Mayor. All members are present with us in chambers.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Johnson, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item of business is approval of the agenda. Before changes are discussed, are there conflicts of interest to declare? Hearing none?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I don't have a conflict of interest, but there's two items of note here. On ordinance serial 2602, I don't have any problems with it, but there's an error on page 28. The date is wrong, it's 2025. On resolution 2602, page 37, it lists a TBD cost, and I've asked that the administration at some near date here give us an estimate so we could include that into the upcoming budget. But I don't have any reason to pull these from the consent agenda other than those comments. Thank you.
Are there any other changes to the agenda? Mr. Graham?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull item 8.2.3 from consent agenda to new business, please.
Through the chair to Councilmember Graham. Are you referencing Resolution 2604?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Resolution 2604, item 8.3.3.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Are there any other changes? Hearing none. Is there an objection to the motion? The agenda is approved as amended. Special orders of the day. There's one proclamation, which I will read. The City of Wasilla proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas the City of Wasilla honors the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader who dedicated his life to advancing equality, justice, and peace for all people. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a visionary leader whose steadfast commitment to justice, equality, nonviolent social change transformed the course of American history. And whereas through his leadership in the civil rights movement, Dr. King inspired the nation to confront injustice and work toward a society grounded in dignity, fairness, and opportunity for all. And whereas Dr. King's message that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere continues to resonate across generations and communities, reminding us of a shared responsibility to uphold civil rights and human dignity. And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day serves not only as a day of remembrance, but also as a call to service, encouraging individuals and communities to actively promote understanding, unity, and civic engagement. And whereas honoring Dr. King's legacy challenges us to reflect on our own actions and recommit ourselves to building stronger, more inclusive communities through compassion, dialogue, and mutual respect. Now therefore I, Glenda D. Ledford, Mayor for the City of Wasilla, do hereby proclaim January 19th, 2026 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the City of Wasilla, and encourage all residents to observe this day through acts of service, reflection, and community involvement that honor the enduring principles of equality, justice, and peace, dated this 12th day of January 2026. Okay, we are now to commission and agencies reports. Wasilla High School student. Please start your report by stating your first and last name.
Good afternoon. This is Austin New City representing Wasilla High School. Just some semester one statistics. We had an average daily attendance of 91%, which is the highest attendance in the last 7 years. And the discipline rate was only 6.2%, with cell phone infractions being about 2% of that. Wasilla High School has been awarded the gold distinction on the AP School Honor Roll for the 24-25 school year. And just for reference, for gold, you need the class of 2026 to have 65% to experience one AP class, 35% to earn college credit, and 10% to take at least 5 AP classes. Wasilla High School had 89% experiencing one AP class, 58% earning college credit, and 13% taking at least 5 AP classes. Those stats amount to about 2% away from the platinum distinction on the AP Honor Roll. And for sports, basketball, hockey, and volleyball are in full swing. We have a lot of games coming up in February. And the Wasilla High School Hockey Outdoor Gun Show is January 17th through 18th. It's about 200 plus vendors. We're raising money for the Wasilla High School hockey team. So be sure to come and support. Our leadership team has doubled from semester 1 to semester 2. So we have twice as many people to help out with dances and spirit weeks and stuff. And we have started work on our winter dance, which will be February 27th. And we'll have a spirit week and pep assembly before that. So we got a lot of plan and a lot to look forward to. So, thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Austin, thank you for your report. Did you say only 2% of the disciplinary infractions were for cell phone use?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Please tell the principal, your staff, and all the students that the City of Wasilla is immensely proud of the job that they're doing over there.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we are now at public hearing. Madam Clerk, please read the first ordinance by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance serial number 2601, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget by appropriating $82,907 from the general fund balance for the purpose of adding one full-time FTE police officer 1/2 position at the Wasilla Police Department that was inadvertently deleted in the fiscal year 2025 budget.
The public hearing on ordinance serial number 26-01 is now open. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the dais. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2601?
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance serial 2601.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to adopt ordinance serial number 26-01. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor, I strongly support this. I think the thing that caught my attention on this is the word inadvertently deleted. And I don't know what led to that in the last year's budgeting cycle, but as we're starting this budget cycle, is there anything that we can do to prevent such an error from occurring?
Ted, you're up.
Yes, through the, through mayor to council member, I don't know, Johnson, just broke my glasses there. But anyway, we have been working on this with personnel for this last 3 months to ensure that our position PCN control register in finance matches the PCN control register in HR, so that we can't have these type of issues happen again.
Madam Mayor, a follow-on question to that. Now, when I left a year ago, there was some new accounting system that was coming on. Is that not correct? Or overall electronic program that would help the budgeting and cost tracking? Is that, or am I missing something? Or am I misremembering something?
Nope, through the mayor to Councilmember Johnson, we put into place NeoGov, and that is the HR side of it, so that now HR right now is working with our Central Square program right now, but once we move over to Tyler Technologies, those two programs will work in theory seamlessly in controlling PCNs and the budgeting process.
Ms. Rubio.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Can we move into executive session? Or are we good?
Oh, through the chair, I think we're gonna move in further down the
Further.
agenda under new business, yeah. And then
Oh, under the,
move
oh,
into-
gotcha, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's what.
Okay,
Madam
yeah.
Mayor,
Yes.
sorry, actually to jump onto what Ms. Rubio is saying, I mean, generally executive session is about a specific topic, so if you're wanting to specifically talk about this topic, wouldn't we want to move into executive session over this specific topic, or no? Is that what
No.
you- Okay, I know, just that. I did have something else, if I could continue, Madam Mayor. This, I recall, is not the first time we've had to do something like this recently. If I recall, we had another transfer that didn't happen recently, and I know of another one after talking with our deputy administration that's gonna be coming up here as well. I mean, kind of to jump onto what Mr. Johnson's saying, are we actively combing through to verify that something like this doesn't continue to come up?
Through the mayor to council member, yes, we are. We, again, on those transfers, there was a cross between the last budget year and this year. As we're going through, we put into places, for example, the transfers that you were talking about that we brought forward earlier this year were caught because we put into place new procedures where we actually tied our ordinances to the actual not the line budget. And I can't really state going backwards on that issue on the transfers, but we have budget processes in place now to ensure that doesn't happen again.
If I could follow up, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. And Ted, I understand this isn't your fault. This is stuff that you're discovering. So from what I understand, it's stuff from prior time here. So I appreciate you taking the time to actually comb through this and basically just double check everything, make sure we're not coming across something like this again. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And Mayor Ledford, if I can state, it was actually the chief that was the one who led us to this error that happened due to the Burns grant, the JAG grant, that we actually didn't keep a position that should have been there. So it was the process of the two departments working together with HR to figure out what actually happened on this one position.
Okay. Mr. Gray?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As long as you got your mic on, Ted. Couple questions here. So we're adding $83,000, which is the salary for one FTE police officer. And then when I look through the justification here and I look at previous years, you know, one police officer was $181,000. Okay, salary and benefits. So I'm kind of curious, when we passed the budget, did we include all the benefits for this police officer position that we didn't fund? Or why are we only asking, you know, for $83,000 when we, in previous years, this was $180,000?
Through Mayor Ledford to Councilmember Graham, we are actually only asking for 50% or a little less than 50% of a year's worth. So you're absolutely correct. If we were going to budget for the full year, it would be approximately the 170 to 180,000. But since we're already halfway through the year, we only we're putting in a budget for the rest of this year, which in next year then of course we'll be having to budget for a full year for that position.
Yeah, and then if I may, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you, Ted, that was great and well said. So this is a position which was essentially created because of a grant that we're getting. There's no certainty that this grant will continue. You know, I mean, it seems to be an annual year, every couple of years this comes up. Did this create a PERS position for us that we're gonna be paying retirement for the rest of our lives, or how did this affect PERS?
You know, through Mayor Ledford to Councilmember Graham, you know, that is probably, I would not believe if the funding went away that we would have to keep the position, but that is something that we could ask HR to verify with PERS, because again, the way it is stated in the original ordinance was that if this funding went away, then
This goes away.
we would actually go down the ladder. And we have always, in the past, of course, had a vacancy factor in those positions that we could utilize if we lost the funding. But I believe since it's required to have funding, that we wouldn't be required to keep the position under PERS, but that is something we definitely could look at, because I'm definitely not expert on that portion of PERS law. Holly, I don't know if
The only thing I would say is, generally speaking with PERS, what you're looking at is an elimination of a classification. So if you get rid of a whole department, then you're going to be moving into that realm of termination studies, and one of those, the sort of financial analyses that the city really is gonna have to think hard about, because those costs are, you know, can be significant. But when you're eliminating a position, that's not that's not the case. That said, there are some parameters on what happens if you eliminate a position with PERS, and we can get you something on that. That is not even, I mean, generally speaking, I would go to Jennifer Alexander to sort of do a synopsis, because I do think there's some cost, but it's not, I think I know, Councilmember Graham, what the fears that you're expressing right now, and that's triggered when we have a department. The problem is with small cities, sometimes we have a department created, or a division created with one or two positions, you know, and so it's just making sure that we're not doing, inadvertently doing anything like that, which isn't the case here.
Okay, now thank both of you. Chief, could you give a quick update on the number of vacancies and the number of trainees, right? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
To Councilmember Graham, we currently have, without this position here, we have one vacancy. I just did an offer last week. They're coming, driving the Alcan here pretty soon. With this position would be 2, and then I'm sending 2 to the DPS Academy in Sitka here in about a month. And I have, they're starting the academy here pretty soon. That will be 16 weeks.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Is it, Ms. Rubio?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Follow up with that. Sorry, trying to get those numbers. Chief, in the current fiscal year FY '26, how many sworn officer positions are authorized by council, including the chief and lieutenants?
How many? Total sworn? I believe it's 31.
That's chiefs and lieutenants?
Yes. Let me check. Let me double check. Give me a minute. Let me double check.
Thank you.
Next is 35 positions.
Counting this position would be 32. 37 or 39 total. Not counting this one would be 31.
Madam Mayor, just to follow up, I didn't catch it on the first time. You said you have one vacancy. What position title is that?
Police officer 1 or 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion carries. We are now at persons to be heard. It's a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. Please note that this is not a question and answer period. Speakers may be referred to administration and items raised may be taken under advisement. And there's no one signed up, so we will close persons to be heard. We are now to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the items for approval under the consent agenda by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Regular meeting minutes, December 15, 2025. We have one introduction. Recommended public hearing for January 26, 2026. That's ordinance serial number 2602, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget by appropriating $60,000 from the general fund balance to fund financial consulting services due to position vacancy. 2 resolutions left on our consent agenda. The first is resolution serial number 2602, ratifying the mayor's declaration of a local disaster emergency due to the December 2025 severe winter windstorm. And lastly, resolution serial number 2603, authorizing water mainline extension agreement and reimbursement to King's Chapel in the amount of $13,950 for oversized water main costs.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
So moved by Councilman Johnson.
Is there a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second the motion.
It's been moved by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Councilmember Crafton to approve the consent agenda as read. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. There is no unfinished business, so we will move directly to new business. Madam Clerk.
Through the council, through the chair to the council, would you like to take 2604 first?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll do that. Resolution serial number 2604, approving the contract, approving the amendment to the contract between the City of Wasilla and Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated in the amount of $52,473 for geotechnical investigation services.
Okay, is there a motion to,
Madam Mayor, I move resolution serial 2604.
is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Graham and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to approve Resolution 26-04. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor. So I asked to move this to new business, just for a little clarification for myself. It says in the staff summary here, it says essentially that this portion of the contract, which is necessary to accomplish the work, was excluded. Is that a routine matter? Was that we forgot to put this in there, or is it we wait till we get to a certain point to let the technical part out?
Yeah, through the mayor to Councilmember Graham. So the RFP that provided the contract had multiple tasks within it. It's a large project, and so the first few tasks were initiated through the funding available, and then the next tasks were brought on as identified and as funding was allowed. So this has been needed for the project. We're kind of doling out authority as the project makes it clear what we need to do next and as funding is available.
Thank you, sir.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, is there objection to the motion? Resolution serial number 26-04 is approved. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Next, we have resolution serial number 2601, providing an opportunity for review and public comment pursuant to Wasilla Municipal Code 390-085C on the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Wasilla and the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 302, and providing for the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 302 and the City of Wasilla to enter into negotiations for a new contract and authorizing the administration to begin contract negotiations.
Ms. Rubio.
Madam Mayor, I move to enter executive session for matters which the immediate public knowledge of would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances of the city, specifically to discuss union contract negotiations with the International Union of Operating Engineer Local 302. Those present in the executive session will be the entire council, mayor, city clerk, city attorney Wells, public director, and human resource manager.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Through the chair, fantastic motion. If there's no objection from council, may we take public comment first on the resolution? So if any members of the public under that provision of code want to talk to you, the council, about the contract, what they'd like to see or not see, that would be the time.
Madam Mayor, I would like to amend the persons attending executive session to include the chief of police, since he is the most familiar with the recent contract negotiations, not with 302, but he can chime in on what exactly we did when we just negotiated the police contract, unless there is objection.
Okay, is there a motion to enter executive session?
Would you like public comment first?
Yes, sorry. Is there objection on public comment? Okay, we will take public comment first. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Seeing no one, we will close public comment on resolution serial number 26-01. And now we are back to the motion on executive session. Is there a second?
Second, Councilman Johnson.
The motion has been made by Councilperson Rubio, seconded by Councilmember Johnson to enter into executive session. Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, we are entering into executive session at 6:30 PM.
That's a confirmation.
Need a motion to exit committee, executive session.
Madam Mayor, I move that we exit executive session.
Is there a second?
Go ahead. Rubio seconds.
The motion has been made by Councilmember Crafton, seconded by Councilmember Rubio to exit the executive session. Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, we are out of executive session. Back on the record is 6:58. Okay. Now, James, are we
We
going?
just need a motion then to adopt the resolution.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt resolution serial 2601.
Madam Mayor, I'll second the motion.
It's been moved by Councilmember Graham and seconded by Councilmember Crafton to adopt resolution serial number 2601. Is there discussion? Hearing none, is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion, the resolution is adopted. And now, are we back? Huh? Mhm.
Madam Mayor, would
Yes.
you like me to read the items under communication?
Yes,
this evening?
please.
Thank you. One item number 2601, quarterly financial reports for the period ending September 30th, 2025, to include the month-to-date expenditure report, disbursements greater than 10,000, the investment report, quarterly report of businesses receiving a penalty, waiver for sales tax. We have one set of commission meeting minutes. That's Planning Commission, November 18, 2025.
We are now at audience comments, which is a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. Is there anyone in the audience? Seeing no one, I will close audience comments. And are we going to do that to the dais? Are we going to?
Go in order.
Okay. Okay, we are now at mayor, clerk, attorney, and council comments. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to make sure council got my email. The January 19th special meeting that we had scheduled has been canceled. We'll resume with the special meeting January 21st. That's discussion only committee of the whole. That's our FY27 budget development meeting, our first one, followed by another special meeting January 28th, same thing, budget development. And then it's my understanding from administration that at our February 9th meeting is when council can expect to adopt the budget goals and initiatives. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor. We'll see you all next then at that special meeting on the 21st.
Madam Attorney.
No comment, Madam
Councilmember Johnson.
Madam Mayor and administration, thank you. This last week, we had a successful fireworks display, at least I think it was. It really looked nice from what I saw. I really appreciate that. I think the one lesson to be learned here is that we need to, on major events like this, make sure that we communicate before we start making a lot of plans that could possibly affect our citizens in that particular area, or at least the businesses with that. I do have a good report from the Valley Performing Arts. They were able to shut down their performance during our performance, and that really worked out more or less good. But I think had we had a little bit of advance notice, I wouldn't have had people talking to me about that. So I would encourage us to think about the impact on rescheduling at an earlier time. Thank you.
Councilmember Cottle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I have no comments tonight.
Councilmember Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thanks for those of you that are here. Appreciate that, and those of you that made executive session. I think that was very good use of everybody's time in there, and lots of great information from you, Ted. And of course, thanks for everything that you do for us here. I also have to follow on to Councilmember Johnson's comments about the fireworks. They were great. I mean, it was a very, very, very nice show. However, you know, it did cause business, in this case Valley Performing Arts, to do some significant tap dancing. And I realize that's probably one of their things, but there was a lot of tap dancing involved to get around what they were not consulted about. You know, so they didn't know until Thursday how they were going to get around the change to something that they had planned for a year, something that they had to change on Saturday. So, you know, I talked with the mayor about it, you know, and, you know, we talked with VPA about it. And, you know, they made it work, but we shouldn't be forcing businesses to make things work when they've got plans that have been laid out there for a year. So I need to just encourage us to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more inclusive or thoughtful when it comes to doing stuff like that. It was a great show. I think everybody really enjoyed it, and it turned out well. You know, I also want to, you know, thank all the citizens and non-citizens, you know, in Wasilla for cleaning up after the windstorm. You know, I mean, how often do you see people walking through the Fred Meyer parking lot picking up trash, you know, that are not Fred Meyer employees, that are just people that go, holy crap, what is this doing here? And they pick it up and they put it in the trash can. So I think that's, you know, something that our city can be proud of, that civic pride. You know, we go out and we take care of things, and that's the way it happens. You know, in the spring, we're going to have to do a little bit more as a city to clean up, but we know that our citizens want a nice, clean town, and they're willing to do their part to make that happen. So I really thank the citizens for doing that and being so well involved, and also for helping out. I know there are a lot of folks in our city that don't have the physical capabilities to be able to get out and clear snow and things like that. And I saw a lot of neighbors out there doing it. I saw one Boy Scout troop out doing it. So good on you, Wasilla. We're doing great. Congratulations to Wasilla High School on a successful semester. And once again, thanks for all being here. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Crafton.
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody, after the Christmas break. I'm going to jump on the fireworks here. Great job, Scott. I know this last budget I had wanted to give a little bit more to it and make this show a little bit better. And I would definitely say it was great, and I really appreciated the last minute schedule shift. I know it obviously caused some issues with some businesses there, but safety is always the number one priority, and it's a bummer this year, just seeing our windstorms and last minute finding out that there's going to be more wind and that we had to move it. So good job this year and being able to pivot. And then another comment to Eric there. How are things going with our road plowing and sanding here? I know we're getting pretty heavy with snow, and it looks like with the warmer weather that's coming later this week, it's going to be happening again. My guess is could potentially see another foot of snow. I know we briefly spoke about some issues that obviously are not our roads, but still are very concerning, because when people have issues of roads inside the city, they're not going to call DOT, they're going to call us. So how are things looking for us right now? How are roads?
Yeah, through the mayor. Roads crew's doing great. So they had a call out over the weekend to come deal with the snow that fell after hours. Crews are out today. We don't have any major mechanical issues to talk about. Just talking with staff today, you'll notice the sidewalks over here have been plowed with our new trackless. So we're hitting it with everything we got, and I think the crew's being very successful. So we're feeling like we did a really good job. I appreciate the question, because we were able to address something through the Matsu Borough. They have their very effective roads maintenance dashboard. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. We have some trade-out locations in RSA 14 and 9, and I wasn't seeing the activity in those areas that I wanted to see, and I thought maybe we weren't getting the service we needed. So our staff went and checked, and it turned out that the borough is having a reporting issue. A couple of their contractors needed to update their apps that they use, and so they weren't getting credit for what they were doing for us. And so through the, just trying to double check that all of our citizens are getting the service they need, we found that they had a technological glitch they fixed. So if you go to those areas in their dashboard, you will see far more activity than has been the rest of the winter. So I'm glad to say that we're able to show that all of those services are being provided and that our crew is doing a great job.
Awesome, thank you. And then just a curiosity question, what is our protocol for when we get the call out? Just because a lot of people are always asking.
Usually we'll roll out at when the snow stops after 4 inches, but we've been responding sooner because we know of the impacts to traffic. So it's anywhere between 2 and 3, and depending on where it lies with the next day's commute. So we've been very proactive so that we don't have problems when everyone's trying to get to work on Monday morning.
Awesome, thank you so much, and welcome back, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
Councilmember Schmidt.
I wanted to say thank you to Scott as well. The Menard Center event on New Year's Eve was wonderful. I took my son down there. We went ice skating together. A whole bunch of friends. We all went down there and had a good time. So I think that's great that we put this on for the city. And I just want to say thank you again for putting all that on.
Councilmember Rubio.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Gotta jump on the fireworks. They're beautiful. I mean, I even love the final countdown that they used on the radio as we're counting down from 10. I mean, the music choice was perfect. I'm that kind of person. I love it. Question to Public Works. Eric, do you know when we're gonna get the ice rink all put together on Muscle Lake?
We've been checking the depth, and that's not a problem now. The ice on top isn't great. There's been a bunch of overflow with the winds that we had at the end. I will double check on that. We're kind of getting in that catch-22 where we're afraid if we set it up, it'll blow away. And then we lose all of that equipment. And then there's also kind of that sweet spot for having it up long enough before we take it down. But I'll get you a firm date on what the installation plan is.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we'd want it to be like the Christmas tree lighting. Oh, the weather's killing us this year. Or maybe 2025 into 2026. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you all. I think our city's running great. We had a lot of positive feedback about Christmas in the park. One lady said, hey, Anchorage has got nothing on you guys. You do a much better job. And I'm like, yeah, and we didn't buy ours. You know, Parks and Rec made all of those. So we are ahead of the game. And every year, you know, bigger and better. And maybe next year we won't burn baby Jesus. But, you know, things happen. Eric.
I want to follow up on what happened to baby Jesus. So in the past, you know, baby Jesus has a manger with hay, and in the past, the window would ice up. And so staff built a new house for baby Jesus and installed up in the air a heater to just keep the frost off so that you can see inside. The wind was so strong, it flipped the whole thing on its roof, which then became the floor, which then caught all the hay on fire. So that was not the plan. Flipping baby Jesus was not in our bingo card. And so moving forward, we will not have, we'll come up with a solution that doesn't cause that again, but rebuilds what we lost.
And Amy, please don't put that in the paper.
I was just gonna say, I better see an article that's titled, "What Happened to Baby Jesus?" is tomorrow, Amy.
No. So, thank you guys. It's been a very good meeting, and I leave tonight. I'm going for AML, and I'll be back on Friday. I'm going to DC. So I will see our federal delegation. And Lisa's always going to say, okay, how much money do you want, Glenda? So, you know, I'll see what I can bring back, if any. But it's always exciting to go and, let them know we are here because we are the grassroots. And we take your money and this is what we have done with your money. They can see where we don't have no fraud in the city of Wasilla with federal money. So. Anyway, okay, and now,
Executive session?
yes,
Madam Mayor, can I make a quick comment?
yes, you can.
Scott, I don't want you to think I didn't like the fireworks, because I didn't have comments. I didn't get to see them, but I get to hear them as close as proximity as they live, and next year, note to myself, stronger doggy drugs. Because it was a really bad weekend for that with them.
Yeah.
People that had dogs out there, it was crazy.
Yeah, well, mine were home and absolutely ballistic, so, but it sounded wonderful, and I know for all the years that I've watched it, it's always been amazing. I know you do a great job.
Ms. Rubio.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to enter executive session for matters which the immediate public knowledge of would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances of the city. Matters which by law, municipal charter, or ordinance are required to be kept confidential. Matters involving consideration of city's records that by law are not subject to public disclosure, and matters subject to attorney-client privileges, specifically to discuss Talton versus City of Wasilla. Those present in the executive session will be the entire council, mayor, city clerk, city attorney, Richard Moses, and police chief.
And Ms. Wells, do you want to come in as well, Holly?
Do you need me in there, or you?
No, I don't.
I think that, yeah, I think just city attorney Moses will be the.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to enter executive session?
Second.
I'll second the
Oh, a
motion.
second. Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Rubio and seconded by Councilmember Crafton to enter into executive session. Is there an objection to the motion? Hearing none, we are now in executive session at 7:15. Is there a motion to exit the executive session?
Madam Mayor, I move that we exit executive session.
Is there a second?
Cottle seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Crafton and seconded by Councilmember Cottle to exit executive session. The time is 7:30 PM. With no further business at hand, I am adjourning the meeting unless an objection is raised. Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 7:30 PM.